We are glad you're with us, continuing this story that we broke earlier this morning. A Knoxville native, the newest recipient of the military's highest and rarest award for valor, World War II Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds, will be posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor.
At the age of 25, he defied his German captors in a prisoner of war camp and saved the lives of almost 200 fellow American soldiers. Edmonds died in 1985, and he never shared his story. With that, John's going to share more of his story with us. This is something that you have been following for many years, but talk about a culmination.
And as we talked about earlier in this newscast, Robin, not only did he defy his German captors, but he had a Nazi commander's gun to his head, and the commander said, "Have all the Jewish Americans fall out separately." And Roddie Edmonds refused to do that. In the words he used, he said, "We are all Jews here." This is a devout Christian who grew up in South Knoxville, and he knew if those troops fell out separately, they would most certainly die.
And that set in motion where we are today, that he will be awarded posthumously the Medal of Honor. What is the process of that?
It is a lengthy process most of the time, and in this case it was. You need witnesses, witness testimony, which they had from his fellow prisoners of war. Again, Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds never shared this story, so it was the fellow POWs who his son spoke to and was able to glean this story. And then, as you know, Robin, he has been recognized, Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds, by the nation of Israel. He is the only soldier to ever receive the highest of honors from Yad Vashem and the Holocaust Memorial, and it's the highest honor that a non-Jew can receive.
It's something that you had shared with me offline. This really started, though, with his granddaughter. His granddaughter. Wanting to learn more about him.
She did. She was doing a book report, and that's too simple a term, but a report on her grandfather at Maryville College. And then his son, Chris Edmonds, who we profile and you'll hear from later today, Googled his father, and he connected with Lester Tanner, who we heard from at the start, who said, I do have a story to share about your father. This snowballed into what we see today.
Well, East Tennessee does have a history with the Medal of Honor. We have recipients who are from East Tennessee, born, raised here.
It's extraordinary that we now have 16 recipients of the Medal of Honor from East Tennessee. They are recognized on this pillar in downtown Knoxville. Anyone can see that any time of day, no doubt. Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds' name will be etched in stone like the other 15. And we have hosted the Medal of Honor gathering, yearly gathering for all the living recipients, Robin, you know, in 2014 and 2022. This is an extraordinary honor. That's Joe Marm there on your screen, a Medal of Honor recipient who's come to Knoxville a number of times. But this is something that few cities can claim. It's Knoxville and Boston who've really hosted these Medal of Honor recipients twice in terms of their convention.
And I think that really says something about East Tennessee wanting to recognize those men and women who serve and in many cases have earned, well, not many, in each case, have earned this honor.
It is, East Tennessee has a rich history. There's a museum down in Chattanooga I encourage anyone to go to. And they also hosted the most recent Medal of Honor gathering in Chattanooga and really had one of the most recent recipients as well, Captain Larry Taylor, who we spoke to in 2023 when he received the medal. They are bedtime stories that are hard to believe.
We are so grateful you have been sharing Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds' story with us for years now, and there's more to tell.
It is a privilege, and we'll look forward to seeing his family at the White House.
Absolutely. All right, John, thank you.